Hi, I'm Boots Electric, or also Jesse Hughes from the Eagles of Death Metal, and I'm at Amoeba Records on top of the world here in beautiful downtown Hollywood. And this is what's in my bag. The first thing I found is the Catwoman bendable. This character of Catwoman was a big influence on my developing sexuality, I think you could say. Julie Newmar, of course, was the queen, but this is the other Catwoman.
Perfect.
That's what I love about Amoeba is that, I mean, there's a lot of things to love about it, but you're able to really live within the eternal time-frozen bubble of pop culture and experience it, if you wish to, in almost any generation. That's what I love. The second thing I found is kind of a rolling of the dice. It's power pop from the, I guess, late 70s and early 80s.
Shake it, baby. Shake it, baby.
It could be awful, but I don't think that you ever win anything if you don't dare to lose anything. And the only thing you really have to lose with this is time. And somebody else might like it and it could get you laid, so then it can become a useful tool. You know what I mean? Artistically speaking, of course. This is an unbelievable thing. This is for $1. It's in the clearance section and I don't understand why. But Jimmy Walker, who played JJ in Good Times, which is an American TV show about inner city life, and I believe in the Chicago area. And JJ Walker had a couple catchphrases and one of them was dynamite.
Dynamite!
I actually had the Jimmy Walker doll. It was a pull-string doll that it said dynamite and what's happening? And this is actually a recording that's on Buddha Records. And Buddha Records was a record group that put out some pretty interesting stuff in the 60s and 70s.
Progress, we're doing so good, man. I was reading in the paper the other day, they arrested a black brother for income tax evasion. That's a new area for us.
High quality recordings and a lot of seminal performances of artists that went out of print quickly. So I find it very odd that it's for $1, but I got it.
The editor of Cosmo called me up and asked me to be into the centerfold. I had to turn it down, though. No, because see, there's a myth about my people, and I didn't want to spoil it, so little Caucasian lady over here saying, "What myth?"
This is one of the coolest things I found today because this is one of the most influential artists on me personally, sort of in terms of the style or the attitude that I would take towards my career in show business. Falco is an Austrian legend. He was sort of a man of the people. He partied, he lived, he would always hang out with his fans. He made it a point to be with his fans in a sincere way, not like in a sort of Clash only on film way, you know what I mean, or a propaganda style way. And the video for this particular song, Rock Me Amadeus, which was actually one of the first sort of upper level pop attempts, sort of the fashion version of hip hop in a way. And it had this sort of boom, boom, Rock Me Amadeus. It was rad with samples. And it was all sort of an affectation of these things, but still beautiful and sincere. And the video was Mozart, so high class Renaissance society with bikers. And Hell's Angels being the bodyguards for Mozart as he comes into this theater. I just thought the idea of bikers and Mozart was so awesome and made so much sense to me when I was a kid that I remember thinking, if I'm ever doing anything like this, I want to be like this guy. I want to be able to have fun with it. And unfortunately, Falco died in a car accident driving to a festival, driving by himself in a convertible, as was his fashion. And I know it sounds sort of corny, but I'd like to think that that's the most beautiful way for an artist to go out on the eternal drive, the Saturday Night Forever, do you know what I mean? Which is a 50s rock and roll concept. Party All the Time by Eddie Murphy. This single was hilarious. You know, Eddie Murphy, he fancies himself a singer, and he got Rick James to record and produce this single. And if you're a fan of like the Dave Chappelle Show and you remember the Rick James moments of the Dave Chappelle Show where Rick James and Charlie Murphy are remembering, it all revolved around this particular time frame when Eddie Murphy was making this album with Rick James. That's when they became friends, and that's when the famous Muddy Boots on the White Couch situation went down, and all of those hilarious things which I can't say.
Fuck your couch, nigga! Fuck your couch!
And I also thought the single was rad. My girl wants to party all the time. In the video, you can see that Eddie really is into it and really wants you to buy into the fact that he's a serious singer. And I think there's something precious and adorable about that. Maybe not necessarily able to be taken seriously, but adorable, and you can take that seriously. J.D. McPherson is one of my favorite artists that's current.
Let the sky open up, little darling. Follow me when I go. Let the sky open up and let the good times roll.
I think there's a lot of amazing music happening right now that's somehow managing in a world where everything's been done and there's nothing new under the sun. There's a lot of bands that are managing to simulate or at least have the appearance of pushing the envelope and doing something really cool. And J.D. McPherson is able to currently capture the essence or the presentation of even the sonic sensation of listening to an album straight off the radio in the 50s, while at the same time using language that's very current and hip in a way that doesn't seem cheeky or inappropriate. Head Over Heels is one of the best pop songs, best rock and roll songs I've heard in a long time, and it just slams.
I'm all head over heels and I reel when I slip and slide.
There's a lot of magicians running around in our world here doing really amazing tricks, but there's very few wizards. And I think that J.D. McPherson is a wizard, not in like some stupid like hippie with a staff way, thou shalt not pass, or whatever whatever it is, but like in a real like swinging appendage like a baby's fist holding an apple, killing rock and roll, you know what I mean? And then I just got Shortcuts. This is one of my favorite Robert Altman films. I appreciate what Robert Altman does, and I can definitely see the brilliance and the genius that he possesses, but I often find that the conclusions that he attempts to draw in his films are perfectly immoral and not necessarily tenable to me. But this movie, I think, is an incredible testament to his genius in a way that's possible for anybody to get involved with it, if you know what I mean.
Let's take a vote.
All right by me.
Fish now, or deal with the body.
I say fish now.
Suppose the current takes it away.
Then it's not our problem.
It's dark, it's really diabolical, it's entertaining, it's lighthearted, it's got beautiful performances by a menagerie of artists that cross the spectrum, like my God, why am I forgetting his name right now? He's one of my favorite artists, and he plays Bram Stoker's Tom Waits. Thank you. What's your birthday? What's your sign? You're adorable. No one in TV land can see it, but I have a connection with the man who mic'd me, and we're like, it's like our periods have linked up, but our dude periods, and now we're finishing each other's
Sagittarius Capricorn
sandwiches. Yes. Perfect, we're made for each other. But anyway, Tom Waits is in it, and he actually plays opposite of Lily Tomlin.
You want a cup of coffee?
Oh yeah, give me some coffee. How about an egg sandwich?
With a broke yolk?
Yeah, with a broke yolk.
And it's this incredible performance by Chris Penn. There's an amazing nudity scene with Julianne Moore, lame, and pontificating performances. Julianne Moore's bottomless, and it sort of completely and utterly destroys the preposterous notion that anyone in Hollywood does anything other than for the most base of reasons. Nobody's really trying to save whales or stop global warming. They just want to see titties and ass, and this is a beautiful means by which to present it in an artistic manner that might even fool your parents into letting you continue watching.
What are you talking about?
Thank you so much.
That was awesome. I had a lot of fun with that. I love you guys. I never had a dad, but now I feel like I have brothers and sisters, and it's awesome.
I'm never alone. I look at my phone.